It is TLC, Tables, Ladders, and Chairs. We have a pre-show starting at 7:30 p.m. Eastern on YouTube, WWE.com, followed by the actual pay-per-view starting at 8 p.m. Eastern. And of course, now is the time to preview that pay-per-view.
Yay.
Now, you said in the past, as close as a couple of days ago on the Tuesday Night AMP, that you were not excited or even interested in this pay-per-view. But yet, SmackDown has seemed to do the job in getting you excited for it. Well, I'll tell you this, King J. I will try and help to make you even more excited to watch WWE TLC. Maybe impossible, but damn it, I'm going to try. Same for everybody else out there, because not a lot of people are going to be interested in this pay-per-view. Who would? It's December. Nobody really wants to pay $54.99 in HD to watch a pay-per-view right before Christmas. Can you really blame them? I don't. But, of course, WWE just insists that we be interested in this pay-per-view.
I think we're interested in everything that they do, but we're really not. But, after we talk about this pay-per-view and give a little more oomph to what this pay-per-view could really be, everybody's going to want to watch.
And we're going to do what WWE has lacked, and that is make you excited for this pay-per-view. So might as well get into it. And the first match, which is now I guess you could say the official match, is the pre-show. Now, obviously, nobody is probably going to be interested in this, but it is a Santa's Helper Divas Battle Royal. And it's a number one contenders match for the Divas title. So, as far as I know, the participants involved are Alicia Fox, Oksana, Layla, Rosa Mendez, Caitlyn, Tamina Snuka, Natalya, and originally advertised was AJ Lee, but she is out and replaced with Cameron and Naomi, King J's favorites.
Funk is on a roll. I get to look at Naomi in a ring. I'm happy.
And you don't even need to pay for it because it will be on the pre-show, free on YouTube, WWE.com.
To answer the Raw Reaction host, Chris Judd, in the chat room, yes, Naomi is an excellent wrestler. Cameron, she's about a step above Oksana, a step below Caitlyn. So take that for what you will.
Yeah.
But she's just wonderful to look at. So she should stand behind Naomi and she'll be fine. All I got to say, Naomi better not be the first person eliminated, or I'll have Sierra send Kana to WWE headquarters and start slicing and dicing people.
Naomi, Caitlyn, and Oksana were all on the same NXT season when it was all divas. Obviously, Caitlyn won, but, all of them are there.
How? I'm still trying to figure out how she won that season.
I'm trying to figure out how AJ didn't win. But, anyways, Cameron, formerly and officially known as Ariane Andrews, was on the resurgence of WWE Tough Enough last year. And she was the first one eliminated, so, what does that tell you? But she had a poor response, and her only goal was to be a WWE diva. Not a wrestler, not a superstar, not even an entertainer, simply a diva, which I don't think she knew meant actually wrestling in a match.
But she has a great gimmick going, so...
she got what she wanted. She wanted to be a diva, and now she gets to be a dancer. So...
yeah. Who do you think is going to win this match? And I also pose that chat to the chat room.
Yes, that's right. AngryMarks.com/chat will be joining us with our predictions for TLC. As for me, any contender for Eve's title is either going to be Caitlyn or Layla. But, I would actually like to throw out a random one and say Alicia Fox because they had a actually good match on Raw. So I would actually like to see that again.
okay, Alicia's actually not that bad in the ring. It just depends on who she's working with. If they're like relative to her size, she can do good with. If they're extremely smaller than her, like Layla or an AJ, the match is really iffy. But anyone bigger than her or relative to her size, she has good matches with. I'm sticking with my predictions from Thursday night and Tuesday night. It's either going to be Tamina, and I have a reason for that, or Natalya, and I have a reason for that one too. But I'm keeping that until next Tuesday when me and Sierra talk about that.
Yeah, like I said, my original prediction would be AJ, just because they've been teasing that on the house shows, AJ versus Eve. But since they took her out for whatever reason, I don't know. I mean, I'm sick of seeing Eve versus Layla, sick of seeing Eve versus Caitlyn. If they're not going to give the belts to either one of them, then don't put them in the match again. So the only one I could come up with is Alicia Fox, because they obviously don't care about Natalya enough. And I have another prediction in the chat is Alicia Fox. So
okay, to explain it to Chris Judd and everybody else, the reason why they would put Tamina in the number one contender spot is that way they can save putting AJ in that match, have her in some roundabout way because Vicky swerves some crap around like Vicky do to keep her out of the match. Vince goes, no, she deserves a shot just like all the other girls. Have her in a number one contendership match against Tamina. She goes over Tamina and gets a Divas title match against Eve. That way, you swerve it all around because AJ has a bigger part in this pay-per-view. That's why she was taken out of the match. The only reason why I would say why me and Sierra are both saying Natalya, nobody would expect it. Natalya's not really doing anything besides being in love with the Great Khali, which is really weird because nowhere on any side of the globe does that make sense, especially in my mind. That don't make sense. So she would be a surprise because he's basically walked through every other girl besides the Funkadactyls, AJ, and Natalya. She's beaten all the other girls on the roster. Why not throw Natalya in there since apparently Natalya's face again, even though she was heel like a month ago and then turned face and then heel again and now she's a face again. So throw her in there, have her beat her, have her going through all the girls, and in some roundabout way you throw AJ into the scenario. That's the logic behind all that. Sierra has more in-depth one, but I just kept it simple for all y'all.
And there you go. As for the rest of the card, on the actual pay-per-view, we have 6 matches that were announced. So let's start with the Tag Team Number 1 Contenders Tables match between Team Rhodes Scholars versus Rey Mysterio and Sin Cara. Now, I don't know how Rey and Sin Cara have this spot already reserved for them, but fine, whatever. Would you be willing to say that it's clear Team Rhodes Scholars wins?
Team Rhodes Scholars wins, especially since Kane and Daniel Bryan are a face tag team, and WWE doesn't really do face versus face feuds anymore. I got a question. Why in the hell is this a tables match besides the fact that they need a tables match on the pay-per-view?
You answered it already. You just answered your question within the question. They needed a tables match.
And in what kind of possible way does it make sense for Team Mucha Lucha to be in a tables match?
No reason.
No
reason at all, because none of the other matches really warrant a tables match.
I mean, they can all do like a bunch of little flippity-doo-dahs, flippity-days, do some tables, some opponents. Other than that, I don't know. I guess it'll be interesting because Rey and Sin Cara have never been in tables matches, if my memory serves me right. And I'm only 23, so it should work pretty damn well. I don't think either of them have ever been in a tables match, at least a televised one.
Damien Sandow has only been in a ladders match in WWE, so give him a different environment to be in.
It will definitely be an interesting way to see how they go about this.
And if you look at it, Cody Rhodes was victorious in the tables match earlier this year.
That is true. Albeit, he wasn't the one who put his opponent through the table. But
yes, we've already had our controversial discussion on that earlier in April. But the chat room is pretty much concurring with us that Team Rhodes Scholars would get the win here.
And that's the prediction.
So the next match on the card, Antonio Cesaro defends his United States Championship against R-Truth. Now, Cesaro has defended the title against R-Truth a month ago. The next time they face each other one-on-one, Truth got the win in a non-title match. So this is basically the rubber match, the third match between the two. Who would win? We already have a prediction in the chat for R-Truth. I don't see R-Truth winning the title. I don't see Cesaro dropping the title either.
Personally, I think Cesaro needs to keep the title. I want to win, but I wouldn't be shocked and or disappointed if R-Truth won. I just don't know what they have going on Raw for him to feud with, unless they magically turn somebody heel. So I say keep the belt because there's a plethora of faces for Antonio Cesaro to face off against. So keep the belt on him. His streak's running red hot. Keep it going.
Okay, well I've been corrected in chat. We actually do have a prediction for R-Truth, but previously it wasn't a prediction earlier. It was for Cesaro.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go with Cesaro.
Cesaro for the win. It makes perfect sense to me.
Okay. The other side of the mid-card title, Kofi Kingston defends the Intercontinental Championship against Wade Barrett. I would go with Wade Barrett in this match.
Wade Barrett barrage needs to continue. I mean, ain't like Kofi. He loses his match. He loses all his fans. He loses everything that's ever meant anything to him. Blah, blah, blah. He'll be just fine. I mean, he's had 3 other Intercontinental title reigns and 4 United States title reigns. He's fine.
Me personally, I'm going to go with Wade Barrett just because he returned from a half-year injury and he's been on a roll. He's had a lot of wins, and I think the Intercontinental title would suit him and his character and his quest to once again, be thrust back into the main event picture. And if you take it off Kofi, it frees him into, at least hopefully on the bigger and better things, although we know that they're probably not going to do it with Kofi. But
right.
I don't know. At the same time, I like Kofi as Intercontinental Champion. He definitely carries the belt. He's been more intense with it. I don't know what I would call this. I don't know if I'd say I would hope Wade Barrett wins, but I think Kofi's going to retain. I don't know. I'm a little bit torn. Maybe Wade Barrett doesn't win at TLC, but he will win the title soon.
It's another one of those difficult situations. I wholeheartedly expect Wade Barrett to win, but if Kofi does somehow retain and the feud keeps going, I wouldn't be disappointed in that either.
Right.
Just think that Wade needs the title to propel him, and Kofi can always find something to do because they always find something for Kofi to do.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to see either of these guys lose. It's you can't say that in a one-on-one match, but I mean, I want to see both of these guys be victorious at somehow, some way. So I don't know. Yeah. I like Kofi's reign as the champion because he's been more aggressive this time around. But Wade, I don't think now would be the time to put Wade in this title match because it's like Chris Judd commented in the chat room, Kofi hasn't had the belt long enough to drop it, and I agree with that, which is why I say that it was too soon for Wade Barrett to be put into this program. Maybe further down the line, maybe if it was in February, then I would easily say Wade Barrett. But I don't know. We've been. I think the prediction is pretty much split down the middle. We've both predicted Wade Barrett. The chat room had predicted Kofi Kingston to win.
Yeah. I don't know. I just know that the match is going to be good.
So yeah, I think it'll be good. These guys should put on a really good match. So the next match on the card, which I guess would be part of a triple main event, and he should be a main eventer in my eyes. Dolph Ziggler takes on John Cena one-on-one in a ladder match. But, as Vicky Guerrero stated a couple weeks ago, you need something to reach up for. And apparently, that's Dolph Ziggler's Money in the Bank briefcase. Unfortunately, and I agree with JBL again when he said Dolph Ziggler should not have to prove himself to be Mr. Money in the Bank again. But I mean, Ziggler in a match against John Cena is high regard for him. And if he can somehow, some way, get the victory here, my jaw would probably drop. Unfortunately, it seems like the rumor is they want John Cena to win the briefcase and right his wrong for cashing and failing earlier this year. He doesn't need it, people. WWE, please let Dolph Ziggler win. I would love for Dolph Ziggler to win this match and retain his Money in the Bank briefcase.
That is true what Chris is saying in the chat room. Ziggler winning would be completely unrealistic. Cause his stick is basically you lose, 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 lose times infinity. But I think him winning would be such a shocker to everybody because everyone's like, okay, he's in a match with John Cena, and then at the Royal Rumble, CM Punk is facing off against The Rock, so they should put the Money in the Bank briefcase on him so that as soon as The Rock wins at the pay-per-view, he can cash it in on him, thus setting up a triple threat rematch at WrestleMania and all those long blah, 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 all that crap.
That's what scares me.
It's good. If WWE goes that route, I won't be shocked in the least. But they sit there and claim that they have so much faith in Dolph Ziggler that they want him to be the next world champion, and they keep holding off on him cashing in Money in the Bank and all those different types of things. If he does, in fact, lose, they'll have him cleanly break away from Vicky, full on blaming her for his loss, and then he'll be done with her. That would be one positive of that. But I want Dolph Ziggler to win this to be able to prove that he's just not the guy who loses all the time. The guy who gets to the big match and can't finish it. I hate the fact that he always has to go for that. That's basically his career thus far. He needs this so he can go on and catch it.
I am praying for Dolph Ziggler to win this ladder match. If I will admit that I will mark out if Dolph Ziggler wins. I will flip the fuck out if Ziggler wins this title. Or, I'm sorry, if he grabs the briefcase off the ladder and John Cena does not.
You know what would be funny? If this match was the opening match of the pay-per-view, and then for the Big Show Sheamus match, he cashed in Money in the Bank.
You know, I was just thinking that this match will most likely be, I think it'll be second match on the card. Ziggler and Cena, I would love for it to be second match on the card, I should say. But with Cena involved, you know it's going to be towards the main event. But I hope that even if Ziggler does win, I hope that he does not cash it in later. Because I just want him to pass TLC. That way I won't feel the deja vu from Daniel Bryan last year.
That is
exactly 1 year ago.
That is very true.
Because last year, for those of you who don't remember or weren't watching wrestling in 2011, Daniel Bryan won Money in the Bank in the summer, lost every single match, lost more matches, lost main event matches, lost more matches after that. Big Show was involved in a chairs match at TLC, won the match, and Daniel Bryan cashed in on him. If that's what they're doing with Dolph Ziggler, I mean, I'll be happy if Ziggler wins the title, but I mean, I would hope that they come up with something unique and original for him. I don't want to see Ziggler do the same thing. Win Money in the Bank in the summer. Lose every match. Lose main event matches. Lose against main eventers. Lose. Big Show wins a chairs match and loses the title after being cashed in Money in the Bank on him. Be original.
Yeah. What would be funny is like if he ended up cashing it in on like a Raw randomly or something like that instead of on a pay-per-view where it's kind of an expected thing and not on a show where the spoilers come out and then everyone wants to sit there and talk about them and then ahead of time.
Yeah, I would rather it be done on, let's say, Raw, because if it's going to be on SmackDown, if it's on SmackDown, it's the spoilers are going to come out, and then WWE is going to want to beat the websites, beat the dirt sheets, and spoil it themselves, put it right up on their front page on the website, and then we'll all have to just, talk about it and not be surprised when it happens on SmackDown. But if you think about it, King J, next week, it's a live SmackDown.
Exactly. And what a good way to send people home for Christmas.
What a good Christmas gift for Ziggler that would be.
World Heavyweight Champion. Hey, stranger things have happened.
So with that being said, prediction in the chat room, one for Cena. I'm still going with Ziggler. I would love for him to win this ladder match.
Dolph Ziggler wins Money in the Bank. Complete shocker for everybody.
Yeah, and he doesn't have to pin John Cena, even though Cena would take the pin. But moving on to the next match, we have two main event matches. One of them was canceled and now turned into a six-man tag, The Shield versus Team Hell No and Ryback. And they face off in a tables, ladders, and chairs match, but you can only win by pinfall or submission.
And everyone's upset about the fact that the match is by pinfall or submission. I'm fine with that. I really am.
They have nothing to reach for.
Exactly. There ain't nothing up there. It ain't like they have a contract on the pole match where they have to climb up there to get their contract for WWE. They keep running roughshod over the damn company, so... And they make a whole hell of a lot more sense than TNA and Aces and Eights.
Yeah, I mean, the Shield needs to win. They need to establish dominance, and this would be the first official match they have on WWE TV, and it's a pay-per-view, so you can't get much more high regard than that. Now is the time for them to showcase what they've got, showcase why they were picked to be in this spot, and they need to win and not fall like the Nexus did in their first SummerSlam.
And the funny thing is, WWE.com did a article or whatever where they got a bunch of people's responses for the different matches, and Wade Barrett and Michael McGillicuddy both gave their predictions on the Shield match, and Wade went so far as to say, I hope that they learned something from the way we did things and come out more successful than we do. I enjoy their reign of terror because they're doing something that we as the Nexus couldn't put forth. And needs to win this match, because if they don't win this match, there's no point in keeping them around.
They'll look like chumps if they lose, actually, in my opinion.
They'll look like chumps, and they don't need to be put back on television if they lose. Because it will make no damn sense to have them coming out here, running roughshod on all these people, doing all these things, and then get to their very first match and lose it. None of the guys in this match know how they work and operate. They just know they like to hit from behind, hit when you least expect it, and do it mob style. They don't know what they can put forth in the ring in a match. So that type of unpredictability, they can study hours of tapes on the other three, but nobody knows what they can do. If they don't win this match, the entire angle of the Shield equates nothing.
My prediction, Dean Ambrose pins Daniel Bryan.
Oh, see, you didn't tell me the predictions like that.
No, I went specifics here. Dean Ambrose will pin Daniel Bryan.
I can see that happening. Either Dean Ambrose, in my eyes, I see Dean Ambrose pinning Daniel Bryan, or one of Roman Reigns getting the pin on Ryback and having that. Yeah.
Well, see, that's the thing. I don't see Ryback taking a pinfall, and I see them maybe powerbombing Kane through a table. So if anything, Dean Ambrose pins Daniel Bryan, or my second guess would be Roman Reigns pins Kane.
The only reason why I would say Ryback, even though I know the company wants to protect him, so this be the way to not have him get pinned, it would be a complete shocker to everybody to see Ryback be the one who took a pin. That's the only reason why I would say for someone to pin him. But the more than likely thing is for Daniel Bryan to eat the pin, which I'm perfectly fine with.
Yeah. Well, predictions in the chat. Don't see the Shield winning. They, going with Team Hell No and Ryback. And, that's what we're all about. Diversity and different answers.
Mm-hmm.
So, at least one of us, at least someone will be right.
Yeah. I do have one question, though. Do you think CM Punk, Paul Heyman, and or Brad Maddox will have some sort of involvement?
I might go with what Sierra predicted on the Tuesday Night AMP, that Brad Maddox could be a referee.
I could see that happening.
But I don't expect him to be. You know what I mean? He doesn't need to be there unless he is officially hiring them or working for them or working with them or they're working for him or whatever the case may be. But he doesn't need to be involved.
Mm-hmm.
Now, with Punk, he says he will be at the pay-per-view, crutches and all, with Paul Heyman, so that's a little caveat thrown in there that I can't predict what he would do.
Yay, Phil and Wally Walrus.
Extreme Championship Walrus.
Hey, if the title fits, wear it.
Well, we've come down to the final match. Not necessarily, not necessarily the main event, but it should be, I think. Big Show takes on Sheamus, defending his World Heavyweight Championship in a chairs match. Now, if CM Punk was still healthy, he would also be repeating the same match as the year before. CM Punk retained his title in a TLC match in 2011. He would have done the same in 2012, but he's now injured, still on crutches, selling the injury, even though it was a legit injury, he's milking it. Big Show is repeating the same match that he was in last year, except he's the champion this time, and I think he will keep the championship in this match. So I would say a repeat win for him, in a consecutive year.
Big Show wins this match because as much as I'm enjoying the interactions between the two of them, I want to see somebody else put in it before it gets stale, like Sheamus and Alberto Del Rio, which went on for 40 days, 40 nights with 50 winks in between each of the bouts. And by winks, I mean I went to sleep in between each bout because, my God, that crap went on way too long. Big Show needs to win this match because he's on such a roll, and they can easily find somebody for Sheamus to feud with.
Yeah, the thing is, if Big Show wins, who the hell would he feud with? You know what I mean? There's no other baby faces around except for Sheamus. Randy Orton is now injured, and he'll probably come back as a heel. There's no other baby faces, which is why I would suggest Wade Barrett win the Intercontinental title and I would hate for Kofi to be put against Big Show, but I mean, what other top babyface do you have on SmackDown or in the world title picture?
Did you not listen to Tuesday Night AMP?
I did listen. I listened while I worked.
Me and Sierra threw out all these different options. You can't pick none of them people?
Honestly, no. Sheamus is the only guy that I would see matching up with Big Show evenly, but I don't want Sheamus to win. But then again, there's so many heels that Sheamus could fight against.
Okay.
I don't see Kofi facing him. I don't see The Miz facing him. I don't see Randy Orton coming back in time to face him.
Okay. I know that the Ryback thing was reaching out far and wide.
Yeah.
We'll put that on the back burner. But Kofi, that could be a little mini feud for him. Because, I mean, Kofi has beat him once, I believe. So that could be a possibility. But the bigger picture that nobody on the site seems to be remembering, Mark Henry is 100% healthy. He's sitting at home. Bring him back as a face. No, I do not want to see Mark Henry smiling. I do not want to see him as the Red Kool-Aid Man. I want to see Mark Henry come out here and put people in the Hall of Pain. You could have Mark Henry come back. You could tweak the Hall of Pain gimmick just a little bit. Instead of inducting faces, he's inducting heels. He's ripping through the heels left and right, putting this person on injured reserve, this person on injured reserve, tearing through all of them. Get the Big Show. Him and Big Show duke it out. They can have a different dynamic to the match because Big Show's the heel, Mark Henry's the face. You don't have to mess with Mark Henry's strength or none of that. Just have the two of them going at it. Just have it go balls to the wall. Just have them tear everything down.
Yeah.
Perfect. This is the perfect time. Sheamus not going to be in the World Heavyweight title picture for a bit, supposedly. You can just thrust him in there. The two of them going at it.
No, I mean, it's a good point. I remember now that you brought that up, and if that's perfectly fine by me, I mean, bring Mark Henry back as a surprise challenger, and I mean it's completely possible if done right. It's just I don't know how he would be received as a face just yet. It's all hypotheticals, and I wouldn't mind seeing that, but I don't want to see Mark Henry come back and smiling because it was just completely kill the push he had last year.
Yeah. I mean, he definitely would, but at the same time, if you brought him back as a heel, his first feud would be Sheamus. But
yeah. And Mark Henry's always good as a heel, and he's been so intense last year with this Hall of Pain gimmick, and I really loved it, and I hated it when he had to leave for injury. But it's really not that far-fetched for Kofi to challenge Big Show or even Ryback that you guys threw out, because you just know that the Royal Rumble always has some lackluster title matches because they never overshadow what happens at the actual Royal Rumble match. This year, obviously, they're trying to outdo it with The Rock being involved, but with the world title, I don't see anything trumping anything. I don't see that title match talked about days after. So you would just throw in some random challenger for Big Show, and that's fine.
Yeah, if you have it just be Kofi Kingston for a couple weeks, that's perfectly fine because that's giving Kofi something to do. And it's giving the show a feud. And the crowd loves Kofi Kingston. Having a Big Show, it'll be, let's go Kofi. Don't call him that stupid ass Wildcat BS because I'm not really for that stupid nickname. Having him and Big Show, that'll make him that much more of a Big Show and a babyface and make people Kofi even more than they get to.
I've said it before, Kofi needs to be the next top babyface on SmackDown.
As he should be. But
the main event.
WWE's not really keen on that idea for whatever reason.
Well, I'm not keen on him at this point when Big Show's a champion. If Del Rio actually won the title from Sheamus, that would be the perfect way for Kofi to come up.
Uh-huh.
The matches would be more believable. But I have really nothing else to add for the TLC pay-per-view, nor SmackDown or anything else from this week.
One quick question. Which match do you think is actually going to main event, and which match do you think is going to open? Because everyone says that our World Heavyweight title match will be the curtain jerker.
I don't see the world title match opening the show. I mean, it has before, but maybe not this time. I see the tables match opening before this. I see Team Rhodes Scholars and Mysterio and Sin Cara as the opening for this match, just to get the crowd hyped up with the high flyers.
Yeah, I see.
For the main event, I don't know. I guess I would have to go with the Shield.
Even though this would be the perfect time to have SmackDown close out a pay-per-view, they won't do that since they have this red-hot angle with the Shield and all that stuff. They'll close the show. I think in order of matches, it'll go the tag team tables match, then probably one of the mid-card title belts, then either the other mid-card title belt or, unfortunately, the World Heavyweight title match, then the other one, then Dolph and John Cena, and then the Shield to close it out.
And I have no prediction for any bonus match on the card. Just want to throw that out there.
I don't know what kind of bonus match they could throw on the pay-per-view. Because
there's only one I can actually think of, but I would rather keep my peace, and because I don't want it, and I don't want WWE to take that idea.
I know a bonus match.
What?
The winner of that Divas Battle Royal will face Eve later on during the night. That match will be right before the Shield versus Ryback and Hell No.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking that too, but I wasn't sure if they were gonna throw that on the card. Maybe they'll announce that on the pre-show.
They probably will, because I mean that's what they did when Christian returned.
Yeah, that's true.
They have done it before, so it's not completely unrealistic that they would do it again.
Right. So, with that being said, after all that, stay tuned here on the Angry Marks Podcast Network. And always remember that even if you never catch us live as the show's going on, you can download this show on AngryMarks.com. It's always there posted a day later. It's always posted on iTunes, keyword Angry Marks, or if you're on the go, check it out on the Stitcher app on your smartphone. Always, and check out Angry Marks on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. The YouTube, of course, is Angry Marks, DOTCOM.